points. There were some points outside the sheds called track points. They were needed until some engines need to be derailed or to run away from the sheds to the main line. But some engines, like Neville, couldn't even understand. Track points indeed, he said. The Fat Controller or his workmen can get rid of those, he said. Who in the entire railway would want to run away from our nice, beautiful, warm shed? He complained. Both Murdoch and Molly took no notice of this, but they knew it was only in Neville's opinions. But they were also agreeing the fact that why they should run away from the sheds or from the mainland to whichever way they go. One night at the sheds, Neville was all alone. He stayed there with nothing else to do. He felt alone and cold. Both Donald and Douglas, accompanied by Duck and Oliver, were too busy on the Little Western. Murdoch was to take an express train until the morning, and Molly had broken down on the other railway and would need to be repaired until tomorrow. Neville felt lonely and cold, and was feeling alone at the moment. Neville was still shivering because of how cold it was inside the sheds. He decided to wait for hours, but then Neville wasn't alone for long. He was happy when the firelighter arrived. He was happy to be greeted by him, and Neville dozed off to sleep. Then Neville started to wake up. He felt something inside him. The firelighter wanted to have a ride on an engine by himself. He pulled the regulator, but nothing happened. And disappointingly, the firelighter walked away home, but he forgot to close the regulator. Neville didn't notice, and he carried on dozing off to sleep. The next morning, Neville woke up to look outside. He realised it was daylight, but then Neville began to move. He began to move, but he didn't know what woke him up. "What's that?" he said. "Driver, what are you doing? It's too early." But no one answered. Neville realised that he was moving out of the sheds. "What's going on?" he said. "What's going on?" But no one answered. He tried to apply his brakes, but he couldn't. He tried to whistle for help, but he couldn't do it either. Unfortunately, the sheds had no doors. If they did, Neville would bash into them and derail himself. He tried to whistle to the turntable master, but he wasn't there this time. "What's going on?" cried Neville. But then he suddenly heard the sound of a familiar whistle thundering on. "Oh dear!" he shouted. "It's Murdoch! Somebody help me! But then he was heading to even more trouble. All of a sudden, Murdoch came out of the tunnel and went racing on. Suddenly, he saw Neville coming down the line. Unfortunately, Neville forgot about the track points. His front wheels went straight through the line and came derailed. And soon Neville was out of the way just in time as Murdoch thundered on. "You!" he cried. "That was a miss. I almost got smashed into pieces then." But then Neville wasn't alone for long. Luckily, a small group of workmen had just heard what's been going on and had already run over to see if Neville was all right. "Thank you, Trap Points," smiled Neville. "From now on, you deserve to stay here whenever you want," he said, feeling satisfied with what he had finally done.